If you're like most people right now, you're probably wondering to yourself, should I wait for rates to drop? Are the prices going up? Is now even the right time to buy? And honestly, those are great questions because the housing market in Northeast Ohio isn't so simple. I'm seeing different trends depending on where you look. Medina, for instance, prices are up 30%. Strongsville homes are still selling in under 2 weeks. And buyers in Cleveland, they're still landing pretty good deals. So instead of trying to guess of what's going on in these headlines that don't understand our local neighborhoods, I'm going to share the real story. Hey, what's up? Anthony Esposito with eXp Realty, your local expert right here in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And if you are considering buying or selling and you want my help to do so, I have people just like you that are reaching out to me every single week. Contact me directly here and I'd be happy to see what your situation is and get a strategic approach so then you are prepared fully when that time comes. And if you want this market report for free, all you got to do is just put in the comments November report and I'll get that right over to you. All right, so here's the Cleveland housing market report for November of 2025. Now, big thing why this matters, it's more than just, hey, these are the numbers. It's positioned uniquely among the U.S. metros here in Northeast Ohio. And there's resilience, there's opportunity that savvy buyers, sellers, and investors, you guys, you cannot afford to not have this information. So the cool thing is that we're outperforming many U.S. markets due to the affordability. We're showing competitive conditions in the core suburbs here in Northeast Ohio. We're actually experiencing inventory growth, but it's not balanced yet. Hopefully we'll get there. And there's bolstering by rising jobs, tourism spending, and population. And really the bottom line is the knowledge is what matters more than ever. Because again, right here, if you understand the micro market dynamics, that is what's going to give you the winning strategies, whether you are buying, selling, or investing into Northeast Ohio. So the inventory and new listing breakdown on a national context, U.S. new listings are 19% below since April of 2025's peak, but declines are slowing. It's this time of year, it's November. But it does suggest that we may be approaching the stabilizing point in listing activity nationwide, just because it does go back from April instead of, say, in July, for instance. Now, Cleveland growth pattern. Cleveland Elyria inventory has risen for 24 straight months, though the growth rate is slowing. This extended trend shows consistent improvement by buyer selection. In the current numbers, there's 1,180 active listings and 400 new listings in Cleveland as of September. This figure represents meaningful improvement over that huge shortage we had the past couple years. The good news here is that you as a buyer finally have an actual selection and you do have negotiating power in many areas. The reality of things, the supply levels are still low. It's nowhere near a balanced market. So well-priced homes in those desired locations, they still are moving quickly and there's less negotiating power that is available to you as a buyer. So looking at the county overview here are a few things that I wanted to show you that are really impactful and meaningful for this. So Cuyahoga's median home prices, it's currently at $215,180, which is up 5% year over year. 27 days on market is the average, with sales year over year is actually up 9.8%. So we are increasing in price at a much slower pace for Cuyahoga. Lorain is really picking up quite a bit. Their median price $272,500 with a 8.3% increase year over year change. 31 days on market is the average with a 22.9% increase in sales. That's huge. Medina, we're slow and steady still, but we're still going up. So Medina County is at $334,000. That's up 2.1%. Year over year, 26 days on market. So we are moving the fastest out of the 4 major counties. And then it's 9.1% sales year over year. For Summit, 225,000 with actually a negative 1.6% year over year change. So Summit County is actually dropping in price a little bit. Days on market, 28. So it's still moving a little bit quicker than Lorain, but the sales year over year has shot up 21.7%. So what this does is this reveals a market where buyers are actively purchasing despite those interest rates. People are still buying homes, especially in Lorain and Summit. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of that is probably going to be geared in the Elyria area and then the Akron area because of the amount of investment properties that are there. So that kind of skews the numbers a little bit. But the key factor here is that buyers want to move into Northeast Ohio, and they're purchasing despite the rate pressure. And this signals confidence that our market's long term is going to be intact. Like everything is looking pretty good for our market. Now, Cuyahoga County, to take a deeper look at it, the pricing dynamics. So as I said, the median home price, $215,180. That represents that 5% increase year over year, which is sustainable growth trajectory that signals healthy appreciation without that bubble level behavior that you're seeing in some markets that a lot of people are really concerned about. The demand indicators, with that average of 27 days on market, Cuyahoga properties are moving pretty fast for a metro area of this size. The 9.8% increase in sales volume demonstrates that more transactions are closing despite the higher interest rates, which is a powerful signal of underlying market strength. So for the segment performance of this, under $350,000, there's multiple offers that are very common, especially for the updated homes in those areas that have pretty good schools. For the $350,000 to $700,000 range, that's actually balanced right now, where strategic pricing is critical for you as a seller. Now, for the luxury side of things, bumping up over 700 and getting into the millions, there's a stable buyer pool. It's not shrinking, but the high net worth individuals continue seeing value in Cleveland's executive housing market. There's been thousands of people relocating to Northeast Ohio in all price points, but especially with that luxury price point. So for the market positioning, Cuyahoga County combines that solid demand with the urban investment resurgence. Downtown and near West Side neighborhoods are attracting young professionals and empty nesters seeking walkable lifestyles. So that's kind of what we're seeing in those areas. For Lorain County, again, there's that 8.3% median price growth year over year, 22%, almost 23% in a sales volume surge, which is massive. And 31 days on market, that is pretty common with a lot of other areas that are out there. Excuse me. So the migration patterns here that I'm seeing in Lorain is buyers are relocating from Cuyahoga County to get better affordability, mainly taxes is a big one, without sacrificing the quality or convenience. The price differential makes homeownership accessible to first-time homebuyers and move-up purchasers. So that's where we're seeing a lot of people come from, is Cuyahoga County going into Lorain. Development pipeline, there's new developments that are expanding the housing options with modern amenities and floor plans, which is huge, especially in Avon right now. Avon's blowing up even more so than what it is. And the builders are responding to the demand with increased inventory in those desired school districts. That's why we're seeing a lot of new builds in Avon right now. For investors, if you want to look into any type of investing, the rising presence of the real estate investing, recognizing the combination of appreciation potential and strong rental demand. Cash flow metrics remain attractive compared to coastal markets. So basically, the outlook for Lorain County is it's one of the best growth and cash flow combinations in Ohio, not just Northeast Ohio, in all of Ohio. And there is everything in place that's going to support this going through next year. Medina County, highly sought after county that people are trying to get into, and you yourself may even be looking into Medina County. So it's median home price, $334,000 as we covered. with a modest at 2.1% increase, which represents price stabilization. Awesome. After that aggressive growth during the past couple years. And just keep in mind, this cooling, it's not weakness. This is a healthy market, is what we are seeing in Medina. So the location of this, the buyers in Medina County, it's very location specific. There's properties in top school districts with premium amenities. Those are always going to be your highest competition, especially in Highland School District. That is #1 school district according to niche.com in Medina County. And I believe they are ranked number 27 in the state of Ohio. So Highland is very sought after. We do have the tightest inventory. It's just the way it's been for the past several years, but well-maintained homes, again, right there in Highland, Medina City, and Wadsworth, those are still seeing a lot of multiple offers when priced appropriately. That's the key right there. New construction impact, a higher share of new construction has been coming through, and it's driving that price floor and ceiling. Builders are targeting the $400,000 to $600,000 segment with the modern amenities that existing inventory struggles to match, creating upward pressure on renovated resale values. I'm seeing it on a daily basis. A lot of clients, they're wanting to almost have a new home for that, $500,000 price tag because they're seeing new homes being built for a little bit more. So they're wanting to see a lot of big renovations done. In Medina County, it's still a premier move-up hotspot for families that prioritize school safety, long-term value retention. As we look at Summit County, as mentioned, they are down in the median price, but sales volume has shot up. So it does present the compelling case study in buyer motivation. This slight price decline coupled with surging sales volume reveals that the market is value seeking. Is what is happening. They are Summit County buyers are looking for the best deal, is what that is saying. So there are lower price points. There's a lot of entry level and mid-market homes that have tremendous value compared to, say, Medina and Cuyahoga. And even if you want to go as far as into Geauga or Portage. Now, the equity capture opportunities, investors, savvy owner, occupants, they know the potential that is out there. And that's why I was saying I think these numbers are skewed. And that's why we're seeing a lot of the high sales and the lower price, because a lot of this is becoming investors. So I think they're really messing with the numbers a little bit. But the commute accessibility is really huge. I mean, Cleveland's not too far away. Akron is right there in Summit County. So that is really working well for the flexibility on both of those. But keep in mind that Summit County as a whole, that operates as a volume market, is how they are operating. Now to take a look at a few city spotlights. Strongsville has been booming. Their median price is at $402,000, which is up 24.7% year over year. Again, that is driven by limited inventory and, of course, the premium location and everything that Strongsville has to offer. 12 days on market. That is super fast. And if you see something in Strongsville, you still have to go just get a showing booked. Plain and simple, because 12 days is moving pretty quick. The advantage with it is the premium retail and dining that they have. Of course, Southmark Mall. And then you have Royalton Road with all the restaurants, all the shops that are everything right there. Family-driven demand. They have excellent schools. The neighborhood is safe. Community programs, all that stuff makes that higher quality of life. And it's actually, Strongsville is number 6 in the U.S. where most buyers are wanting to live. So that's one of the reasons why I had to highlight Strongsville on this. And there it is with the exceptional amenities, the recreation center, the parks, the events, the lifestyle, everything. This is what's driving Strongsville to be that number 6 most desired city for buyers. And it is going to be competitive. So be prepared to act immediately for the right price. It's going to go quick. You got to have that strategic approach, have everything ready to go. You have a little time to breathe and think about it, but not much. If there's multiple offers, you're going to have to bring your A game if you really want that house. As we look at Medina City, another area where a lot of people are wanting to get into, this one median home price is $305,000, 29.8% year over year growth, 28 days on market. So a little bit more breathing room than that 12 days that Strongsville has, but there is still high competition. So even though there's 28 days on market, I've seen some Medina homes, they're gone within a week. It really is just dependent upon location. But there's still multiple offers that are remaining standard for the properly priced properties, especially the ones that either are move-in ready completely or have very little to do. And the supply-demand imbalance, inventory levels, they do not meet the buyer demand, especially right here in this 250 to 350 range. That is the majority, the vast majority of the buying pool. So your first-time home buyers and your downsizers, like all that, everybody's kind of crashing in, and there's so many people that are trying to get into Medina. So these homes are moving really, really quick, and sellers, they're maintaining not only their pricing power, but the negotiating power in a lot of instances, but not everyone. So don't get too discouraged. And then the seller leverage here is the pricing. It remains firm with the sellers who understand this market dynamics. Now, if you have a strategic pricing approach where you go slightly above recent comparables, it still can work well for you, but just don't do it too much because then it's definitely going to hurt you. So Medina City, though, there's nearly 30% annual appreciation, which actually makes this the fastest growing market in Northeast Ohio. Plain and simple, which this is why Medina is just moving, pretty quick for those homes that we're seeing out there. But the 28 days on market, I think this is even skewed a little bit because of the higher price point homes that you can come across in Medina. Obviously, that's going to mess it up. And when there's lower inventory and you have a bunch of higher priced homes that are sitting, that's where it throws the days on market that are off. These right here, this 250 to 350, and I would even say even up to 500. These homes are going probably anywhere from 7 to 14 days on market is what they're lasting, as long as they're priced right. North Ridgeville, huge hotspot in Lorain County. Median home price is $370,000. That's 11% year over year. 23 days on market, so it's still moving pretty quick, but you do have some breathing room there. And they're expanding the construction pipeline. There's many builders that are developing new subdivisions. They're still building up North Ridgeville like crazy. And it's a hybrid suburb, so it gives you that unique combination of you can get land, but you're also not that far from, downtown Cleveland. And the larger lots are what's appealing to buyers right now. There's a lot of buyers that want space. They don't want to be crammed in. They don't want to have these tiny little lots where you could high five your neighbor from the window. They're wanting a little bit more land, a little bit more space. And it makes it convenient because there's tons of highway access, and it's not that far from Cleveland itself. And it's a relocation buyer magnet right now. Buyers that are priced out of Westlake, Avon, Bay Village, the two big ones. They are going to North Ridgeville because the value proposition is that much greater. You get similar school quality and amenities at a 20 to 30% discount compared to those other three big cities. So it's driving a bunch of people to consider and even move into North Ridgeville. Hopping over to Summit County, Hudson, huge hotspot. It's probably the most sought after city in Summit County. Median home price is $581,790. And that's actually up 4.8% year over year. And this measured appreciation, it reflects a mature luxury market where value is built on genuine quality of life attributes rather than speculation. So it does make Hudson an excellent wealth preservation play for you high net worth individuals. Now, Hudson, the strengths that they have, their education system is phenomenal. They're consistently ranking amongst Ohio's top districts. Their executive housing stock, they have high quality construction, larger lots, and there's a variety of everything. And downtown Hudson is absolutely beautiful. If you have not been there, you got to go check it out. They got a beautiful, beautiful like little area down there. But the profile of it is that, Hudson's price stability with consistent but modest appreciation. This is what makes it attractive to buyers seeking predictable long-term value rather than that aggressive short-term gain. So people who are moving into Hudson, or if you plan on moving to Hudson, more than likely you're going to be there for the long run. It's not, hey, we're moving in 5 years type of a deal. But it does demonstrate that luxury doesn't require the validity. So strong disposable income levels, established neighborhoods, all of that. That's what makes Hudson the way it is. Now, why is Cleveland quietly outperforming? So the national headlines are focused on the coastal markets. Cleveland continues delivering consistent results that sophisticated investors and relocating professionals recognize as exceptional value. And that's why we have thousands of people over the past couple years that have relocated, especially from Florida and New York, as far as the states go. So the affordability magnet that it is, median prices well below U.S. averages. It's like 11% below the U.S. average. There's dual return profile. There's strong performance on both appreciation and rental. Tourism growth. There's record tourism spending, which is signaling economic vitality and creates demand for short and long-term housing. Economic resilience that's going on. There's in-migration trends that is happening. The business expansion that we're seeing, the quality of life, everything is fueling why so many people are looking at Cleveland right now. And it's not a hype market that's driven by speculation and that fear of missing out. This is a value market as a whole here in Cleveland. Now, the rate shift that ignited the buyer activity recently, after 18 months of those high rates, everything felt like it came crashing down and buyer activity went through the roof. There was like a 30% increase on mortgage loans. Currently, we're sitting around a 6.17, 6.2-ish, somewhere in there for a 30-year fixed, which that is the lowest levels in 2025 to date. So it's opening up and unlocking more and more of the buyer pool as it keeps coming down. This 4-week decline streak, its consecutive weekly decrease heading into more of November, that signaled a trend rather than a temporary blip. So keep that in mind. This is not something that is going away. It's just going to keep coming down as the economy is just changing. So what it means for the market is real affordability boost. Keep this in mind. You could afford a $350,000 at 7%. You can now look at about a $375,000. That's the difference about that 1% that makes is around 25 plus. Pre-approval surge. We're still seeing lender activity blowing up, especially with a lot of different programs that are coming out for first-time buyers, like all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of surge that is happening, which is creating a stronger fall season. So we're still seeing a lot of strength, not like a massive slowdown like we typically do right now. So this does represent a window of opportunity for you as a buyer where maybe you were priced out by the higher rates, or maybe you were waiting to get a little bit better of a deal. But as these rates keep going down, just remember that competition increases. When competition increases and as the rates come down, naturally home prices increase. So you got to really be careful of sitting on the sidelines. And this is exactly why you shouldn't wait as a buyer. So just take a look at this really quick. Early 2005 or 25. 6.5% to 7% rates suppressed a lot of the buyer demand that was out there. The current window, budget boost, lower payments, unlocking higher price points. Competition hasn't fully returned yet. Now, here is the risk that I am seeing and a lot of other analysis are seeing. If the rates continue to decline further or stay as low, there is going to be a surge more than likely in competition, and it's going to bump the prices up if you were waiting on it. And this includes new homes as well. New homes are going to increase their prices. The builders are going to bump them up as the demand increases, as the interest rates drop and more people are coming in. Those prices are going to change. So this delay could cost you. Potential competition increase. So there's going to be more buyers that are getting into the market in 2026 as the rates continue to get better. The possibility of price appreciation, which is almost guaranteed that it is going to happen. As rates come down, prices go up. It's been like that historically. Expect it to happen again. Lost negotiating power. So your leverage shifting back towards the sellers if it becomes too competitive. You'll have to battle and have multiple offers potentially. So the strategic timing advantage is buying now means less buyer traffic and more negotiating room. You can take time with inspections, you can request reasonable seller concessions, and avoid any type of bidding wars that may come in spring 2026 because it could end up blowing up and getting completely crazy. For Cleveland, the affordability advantage that is behind this. I'm just going to run over this briefly. Again, if you want this for yourself, just put November report in the comments below. Give me a takeaway from the video. I will gladly get that over to you for free. But the difference is that we maintain steady price growth, avoid dramatic validity. I lost my train of thought right there. Delivers best-in-class cost per square foot, 40% below U.S. median as far as Cleveland as a whole. This is Cleveland City. And then top 10 national ranking amongst metros for investment returns. So the seasonal cooling and market weakness, just understanding the patterns prevents the misreading of the normal behavior of what is going on. So the typical February new listing inventory typically drops 15 to 20%. That's not the case. Buyer traffic moderates as holidays approach. Days on market extend slightly. Sellers become more negotiable. The difference this time around, rate relief is countering this slowdown. Motivated buyers remain active. Less competition creates advantages. Strategic sellers can still command attention. So it's a completely different season than what it used to be. Now, the lower rates, they're keeping qualified buyers engaged through typical slowdown of the months, which is creating year-round transaction opportunities. Sellers listing in winter months are typically motivated by life circumstances, where now it's just more favorable time for them is what's happening, and flexible terms for you buyers. Strategic seller advantages that are happening is that properties that show well in winter months, they face dramatically less competition, allowing properly marketed homes to capture full buyer attention and command that premium pricing. Keep that in mind if you are selling. But don't mistake the seasonal patterns for market weakness. It is everything that's happening with the rates is what is causing the complete change. So the local economic boost, momentum boosters, job growth, expansion in healthcare technology, advanced manufacturing is booming. Tourism spending, we're seeing record numbers, believe it or not, for tourists coming here, which is crazy to think about. Business investment, there's corporate expansions and headquarters that are relocating here because of the affordability and the long-term prospects and workforce quality. And population trends, we had decades of decline. It's now experiencing a stabilization and modern growth as quality of life is increasing. So for your sellers that are out there, I want to let you know if you are selling, you still maintain strong leverage if you understand proper pricing and marketing strategy. The key is positioning your property competitively while making remains active. If you are buying, better rates combined with more selection create the best buying conditions we've seen in 18 months, but the window may close and most likely will close as competition returns. If you're looking for investments, Cleveland's got it for you. It's a rare combination that you could end up getting into. But timing is everything, whether you are selling or you're buying. It's all about timing. It's all about your situation. Everything just depends on you. But the market data provides context in your specific situation that demands that customized approach. And I'm talking neighborhood, property type, buyer, seller. There's so much that goes involved. your specific neighborhood data, your unique goals and timeline, the real-time market intelligence. All of this is how you plan accordingly and plan strategically. Now, if you want to take that step and start seeing, even if it's come spring that you're looking, getting ahead of the game is key, because before you know it, 6 months is going to be here and we're going to be full force into a completely different market. Here's my number right here, 440-364-7823. I have people just like you that are reaching out to me to plan accordingly, and I'm happy to help you out as well. You can call, text me. I'm happy to have a conversation with you and basically find out what your situation is, what is going to be the best approach.